I got a package from the Fed. Everybody's been talking about a leaked WrestleMania card. They have an image online. Well, guess who got the original? Guess who got sent the WrestleMania 33 leaked plans? We're also going to talk TNA because officially TNA is now dead. This video does contain some spoilers from the taping, but it's only two things. One's an announcer and the fact that TNA is dead. If I already spoiled that for you, too bad. Alright, so I don't think McMahon wants you to know I have this. It specifically says Tubby Emu, highly confidential. See? Let's go ahead and take a look. I think this is the leak. I think this is the actual script. You know, because now that I think I work for WWE. Let's see what they got. Bro, the WrestleMania plans. Holy shit. Oh, I got a note from Vince, too. I mean, Vince, I get it, but... FYI, YouTube sucks, nerd. Signed, Vince. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that stings a bit. But it doesn't matter. Look, we got the WrestleMania card. They sent us the actual... I don't know why they would send me the matches, but... possibly the leaked WrestleMania card. It's probably fake, but let's go over it. American Alpha, the Usos, and the Ascension for the Smackdown Live Tag Team Championships. And that's actually not that bad, because if you think about it, they've been feuding the whole year. American Alpha and the Usos should be a match. They've been feuding the whole year. That makes sense. Adding in the Ascension elevates them up a little bit, although... it's kind of easy to tell it's fake because I think they spelled Ascension wrong on this document, actually. Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson versus Sheamus, Cesaro, and Enzo and Big Cass. So they're two six-man tags with 3 teams. And then the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. Okay. Now the main show. The leaked plans from the main show. Neville versus TJ Perkins, Brian Kendrick, Akira Tozawa, Jack Gallagher, Cedric Alexander, and Tony Nese in a ladder match for the Cruiserweights. I'd actually be okay with that, because if you think about it, the Cruiserweights are the one division I think should get a ladder match. Think of how much they've done all year, going back and forth, while primarily 2 or 3 guys have been in the main picture. It makes sense to put them all in a ladder match. I would be fine with that. Alexa Bliss versus Mickie James versus Becky Lynch. I don't see a problem with that one. Dean Ambrose versus Baron Corbin. Perfectly fine and acceptable. I've said it all year. We said it at the Royal Rumble on the Wrestling News Network that Baron Corbin was kind of SmackDown's answer to Braun Strowman. Perfectly makes sense for him to face Dean Ambrose. Big Show versus Shaquille O'Neal. Samoa Joe, Sami Zayn, and Roman Reigns for the U.S. Championship would be excellent, and here's why. I still wanted Sami to challenge, you know, his best friend, his former best friend, and go up against him. But if you think about it, he faces Samoa Joe. Maybe he beats him. Maybe he doesn't beat him. But then Roman Reigns, who's facing Braun Strowman, can pivot from Braun, and Samoa Joe can go after him. They could have a 3-way, and Sami Zayn could still get that WrestleMania victory, the boyhood dream, at the pay-per-view. I'd be fine with that. Seth Rollins versus Triple H if he's able to make it. John Cena and Nikki Bella versus The Miz and Maurice. I was going to say before SmackDown, I would have said nah to that match, but then when you actually watch the show and you wait for the story to come up, you know, the really important thing, like before you just hear a match and go, no. You wait for the story and then you're like, okay, The Miz and John Cena just dropped probably the best promo I've ever heard in my life. Okay, maybe not my whole life, but it was a pretty fucking good promo, so just wait for the story to happen instead of just judging the matches by what they may be. Charlotte, this one's been rumored a while, but Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley, and Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. Again, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I think that would be perfectly fine. Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho for the WWE Universal Championship, and I've said this all year. The story has been about the quote word, best friends. What better match to have for best friends than that match right there? Now, should it be for the title or not? I don't exactly know. Now, one of the reasons I think this was wrong was, I mean, he is challenging him, so he could technically, well, I don't know. I don't know how we necessarily get back to that point, but I don't know. Is he going to beat him? We're going to have to wait and see. Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, loser retires match. Yeah, I don't necessarily see that happening. I think that's a... No. Not a loser retires match. I think that would be kind of pointless. Undertaker versus AJ Styles would not be against that whatsoever. Right now, everybody thinks it's against Shane. Shane faced Taker last year. He could have ultimate respect for him, so it looks like it's going to be Shane, and then Undertaker steps up, and that puts fuel under the fire for Cena, because Cena said in his Miz promo that if he had all the pull, he'd be facing Taker. So if AJ Styles faced Taker, that's like the fuck you John Cena, and that could further the John Cena versus AJ Styles rivalry. I'd be okay with that. Then we have Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton versus Luke Harper, the main event, the WWE Championship triple threat, and I would be perfectly fine with that, 100%. I don't know if you could technically get a better match. I mean, think about it. You got the story guys in there, which Randy and Bray, I think, are going to put on. I said this before. John Cena versus Bray Wyatt was probably the most psychological match in the last 5 years. It was a great fucking match. I think this can top it because of the story and the build. Randy versus Bray, I'm absolutely excited for. I'm ready. I'm praising it. And then you throw in Luke Harper. Please. Luke can be the guy that does a lot of the crazy spots. Bray and Randy can focus on the match psychology. And we could have a goddamn amazing match. So that's it. I mean, besides the fact that Vince fucking hates me and Vince sent me your YouTube sucks, that's the leaked WrestleMania 33 card. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not necessarily against that card in the slightest. I think that would be an okay card based on everything that I see, even though it doesn't seem real. I think this would be a good card to have at WrestleMania. I mean, some stuff could use some tweaking, but all in all, I think it's fine. Let's talk about Impact Wrestling. Officially, TNA is now dead. So TNA is making a lot of changes, or TNA, before tonight, was making a lot of changes. They've let a lot of big-name superstars go. The Hardys seem to be gone, Drew Galloway, Jade, among others, and it seems like they're restructuring. And they brought back guys like Bruce Pritchard, Jeremy Borash, who is now the new announcer, spoiler alert, Jeremy Borash, who is pretty much just degraded Josh Matthews. And now, of course, the big one, they finally have the new logo, because the old logo absolutely sucked. So I'm so glad Impact Wrestling finally got the new logo. I think it looks great. And the fact that now it's just Impact Wrestling, there's no more TNA, is good for them. Because TNA, I think, became a tainted brand. So to switch over to Impact, I think maybe it would have been a little better if they had done something else. But Jeff Jarrett now in control is like, nah, they're cutting the hammer. GFW, which it still sucks. We have not got to see GFW. But, I mean, it is what it is. So, I want to know what you guys think. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing that TNA are making these changes? I keep saying TNA. I'm going to say that for a while. Is it a good thing that Anthem and Impact Wrestling are making these changes? Are you excited? Do you still want the TNA name? Or are you glad they actually dipped the TNA name to finally go in a new direction? I mean, I personally think it's a smart thing to do, and I think it's the right thing to do. I'm pretty excited, if I'm being honest for you. I think Impact provides a lot of good opportunities for talent, even though I'm hearing that their contracts have been a little, oh shit, as they try to renegotiate the contracts. And I don't see a reason for them not to try to renegotiate really cheap. It just got announced that they have a Spike TV deal. So finally, if you're in the UK and overseas, they're bringing it back on Spike TV UK, which is big news, because weren't they on like Challenge TV, or was that Spike channel, and then they went off, and now they're finally back. So hopefully Impact can get those bigger ratings. And you know that Fight Network bought them for a content company. They want to own content and own as much as they possibly can. So they're not really wrestling fans, they're business fans, and that's why they bought it. So I'm totally fine with it. I think the TNA is headed in the right direction, man. I think depending on who they sign, it'll be interesting to see if they go big, if they go old, if they go new, what they in fact do, because I'm not going to spoil the show on the tapings. But for the most part, I think it's a good thing. So let me know in the comment section below what you think about TNA and what you think about the leaked WrestleMania card, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not against it. Then there was the talk about Kurt Angle, and the big thing about Kurt Angle is, could he pass a WWE physical? Could he make it back in the ring? Jim Ross thinks so. He thinks maybe it's only for one match or 2 or 3 bouts if you space it out over time. Some people think that Kurt Angle would never be approved. Some people say if Goldberg can pass a physical, if Goldberg can get approved, Kurt Angle could. Now, a lot of wrestlers, announcers, people that have been at the independent shows that Kurt Angle's been at say he can still go and he could absolutely pass it. But right now, Kurt Angle is basically saying that unfortunately talks have not happened about wrestling, but if they do, and we hear that you suck, and we finally get to see Kurt Angle wrestle, I think it would be absolutely phenomenal. Now, to be fair, the Goldberg thing, Goldberg also did an article about training and how hard he has to go, especially when you're 50 years old in your underwear in the middle of a ring in front of people. You have to be very strict on what you eat. He talked about his diet and everything and what his cheat meals are. So all the props in the world to Goldberg, man. Goldberg's looking damn good. And I think Kurt Angle coming back, it kind of fuels a lot of fire right now because I think WWE is smart to be cautious whether or not people can get injured. I don't think WWE can be wrong for that. I think a lot of fans would get really upset, like, why aren't you going to let him wrestle? But if they do wrestle and something were to happen, it could be an issue. It's the same thing, like years ago, everybody was wanting Ric Flair to wrestle, but they're like, he couldn't get cleared. But then he eventually got cleared to take some mini bumps in the ring, but that's about as far as it ever went. So it'll be very interesting to see if Kurt Angle does come back to the WWE, but to be fair, just getting in the Hall of Fame, finally getting to see Kurt Angle back in the WWE after the falling out, after going to TNA. I'm glad that Kurt's coming home. So either way, Kurt Angle back in the WWE. Well, back in the WWE good graces and in the WWE Hall of Fame. I'll take it. But if Kurt Angle wrestles a match, just think about it. If we can't get him now, if we get a SummerSlam match with Kurt Angle, that would be phenomenal. Hell, put him up with American Alpha. We've talked about this for years, or like a year now, depending on when you started watching American Alpha. You could give Kurt Angle as a manager. Now, they don't need him, and I think it would slow him down. But I think doing like a couple week build for a month or so to like train him for WrestleMania. I think him training them or like giving them some advice like with vignettes similar to like Darren Young and Bob Backlund. Like with Darren Young and Bob Backlund, I could see something like that with Kurt Angle and American Alpha. Something just to get Kurt Angle back more so we can hear the music is what I want. I'm pretty excited for it. So let me know in the comment section below. Are you excited? Do you want Kurt Angle back? Do you think he can pass a physical? And if he can't, will we ever see him wrestle in the WWE, or he's only going in for the Hall of Fame? Until next time, it's your boy Tubby. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you all later.